Hello, and welcome to Quality Time, the podcast made just for Nebraska's early childhood providers who are growing every day through Step Up to Quality. I'm your host, Laura Katie. Get ready to listen as we prepare to elevate each other up as we step up to quality. Whether you're tuning in during snack time, cleanup, or maybe your drive home, we're just so happy that you're here. In today's episode, we're shining a spotlight on what high-quality early childhood care really looks like in action, and how one program is going above and beyond to support young learners and their families. I am thrilled to welcome Robert Patterson and Jason Albeno from Kids Can, a state licensed childcare provider in Nebraska, serving children from 6 weeks to 13 years old. Kids Can offers full-day early childhood education, as well as out-of-school programs, and they actively participate in Step Up to Quality to ensure their programming is both intentional and impactful. Let's dive in and hear more about the important work they're doing. Welcome, Robert and Jason.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
We're so excited. Oh, we're so excited to have you here. So to get us started, could you each introduce yourselves and share a little bit about your role at Kids Can, and maybe one thing you're especially proud of in your work?
I'll start. So my name is, as you said, Robert Patterson, and I've been the CEO of Kids Can for the past 15 years, but I've actually been with the organization over 26 years now. So it's been obviously my life's work. My role, I think, is just to keep all these plates spinning. But I often say my job is more of kind of an orchestra conductor, that I may not know how to play every instrument, but you try to pick the best songs, the most talented musicians, and get everybody on the same page of music and starting at the same time. So I always say the staff and the teachers are the ones that are really making the music every day. But something proud of, this might sound silly, but we've been in our new building a little over 2 years now. So I'm really proud of our new space. One, that we were able to do it. I don't recommend doing a capital campaign during a pandemic, but we did. But really, when I think about for what we were able to offer in an environment for our families, and I remember that first time when we were seeing it through their eyes, the kids' eyes and the parents' eyes, I'm like, okay, all this blood, sweat, and tears was worth it. And they really deserve the best space that they can get.
Wow. Thank you so much. I've actually recently had the amazing opportunity to tour your facility, and it is amazing. And I have to say that I imagine that was difficult to, not only do that during the pandemic, but also the transition to support families, new space. It's not too far away from the location, but still just all of that. So big props to you for making that happen with your team, with your orchestra.
Yes. Yeah. So it was not me alone. For sure.
Of course. Jason, tell us about yourself.
Yes. So my name is Jason Albeno, and I am the early childhood director for the ECE program here at Kids Can. And so just like kind of what Robert was saying, I think I'm the first chair of one of the instruments. So I'm the one who's kind of like playing the notes and the song and the melody, and then everyone else kind of follows my lead within early childhood. And so one thing that I'm especially proud of is just igniting the passion and seeing the passion flow from everybody. Just because like one of the things that I like to talk about is that early childhood is ever changing. And so being innovative and on the spot and flexible is something that I'm like thankful to see within my team, and even the families too, because they're just like, hey, we're going to try it this way. And if it works, awesome. And if it doesn't, we'll work with you.
Oh, I love that. Going with the flow, it sounds like. Yes.
Very.
You have to do. You have to in this business.
Absolutely. I agree. Okay. Well, thank you so much. Connection. I'm all about connection before content. That's very important. So thank you for sharing a bit about yourselves with us. Let's start with the big picture. So Kids Can has a strong reputation for delivering high quality care. What does high quality mean to you and your team, and how do you bring that to life every day?
I think with this one, high quality, I like to personally tie it into the mission and the culture for what Kids Can stands for. So educating, engaging, and inspiring, because not only are we educating ourselves, we're also educating our children and families that we're a part of, and also the community. And we're also engaging them into what best practices are. Just because at early childhood, there's always something coming up. There's more research coming out. And to me, that was really highlighted, and it spoke volumes during COVID. with just different alternative ways of learning and teaching and finding those milestones. And so then we're inspiring the love for learning, is what I say. And so within my team, I'm always like, okay, how are we going to inspire the love for learning at a young age with innovative ways, with new best practices, while still meeting the content or criteria from like the ELGs to like what curriculum we're using. So it's like finding that healthy balance of playing music, but making sure that like everyone's on beat and with tempo.
Oh, I like all this. I'm a musician myself, so I am all about connecting this to the orchestra and the music and all this. So healthy balance of what I'm hearing is educating, engaging, inspiring, but more than anything, being innovative, being flexible, going with the flow, and really paying attention and intentional.
Absolutely. And just thinking, as adults, we're all completely different, unique individuals. We really can't expect our kids to also not be unique individuals and at different parts of kind of the learning spectrum. So we really have to be, like I said, nimble to be able to really make sure every child has the same opportunity for quality care and as they kind of progress towards kindergarten.
Wonderful. Okay, so Step Up to Quality is a big part of the early childhood landscape in Nebraska. How has participating in Step Up to Quality helped shape or strengthen the work that you're doing at Kids Can?
So Kids Can, we were an early adopter of the program, and I felt like we were probably one of the first because I really kind of just jumped in the deep end of the pool on that one because I was kind of hungry for that, and it was really kind of something our organization strived for. And I think one of the reasons is that usually defining quality is sometimes can feel pretty nebulous. And what I liked about the program, it was more of a journey that you take at your own pace. And in fact, I think we kind of gestated at step 3 for a while because we really want to take advantage of having that coach to help us refine our programs. And so we were kind of slower in the process as we kind of moved up, but we really want to take advantage of having that quality time with the coach and continue to kind of elevate our programs. I mean, where else do you get that kind of great stuff? And so as we went through this journey, and also as the name kind of implies as well, it was a pathway to step up to the plate. Because this is really, we had to kind of set, here's where we would like to be, what's it going to take to get us there. So it did give us a good pathway to say, hey, here's what we need to invest in to be better. This is where we need to elevate our work. And it's a continuous journey. There really is no finish line here. And as much as I would kind of like to, but to kind of say, yeah, we did that, but it's a continuous journey that I'm excited to be part of.
Well, I want to give you a round of applause for being a guinea pig, it sounds like, and for being open to experimenting to see how's this going to work? How does this look for us? And it sounds like it has really paid off. So thank you, Robert.
You're welcome. It's, as I say, it's all for the kids, and the better quality environment, the quality teachers that we can give them, the better we will all be in this community.
Fantastic. Okay, so let's see, what's next? What are some challenges? It sounds like I'm hearing a lot of really amazing things that are happening at Kids Can, but I would love to hear a little bit about some challenges that you faced in your quality journey and how did you work through them?
I think one of the biggest challenges is when we talk about high quality, that means investment. That means investing in quality people, and that means dollars. There's kind of no way around that. And as we know, childcare is already expensive, and you keep adding higher quality, it makes it practically unaffordable. And we're fortunate as a nonprofit that we can raise funds to kind of so that financial burden doesn't always fall on the parent's paycheck. But we also recognize that's not really a good sustainable model for everybody. So what we truly need is investment from all sectors of our community, philanthropic, governments, businesses, because childcare and early childhood education means we're really investing in the citizens of tomorrow, and we just have to do better. And we are a polling place at Kids Can, so it's not lost on me when I think about the kids across the hallway in the classrooms, and in a dozen plus years will be the kids in the voting booths in the gym, and that's where I thought this is why we have to invest in our little ones, and really kind of make this part of our infrastructure as a community.
Oh, that's good. Teamwork makes the dream work, and it makes the orchestra play. So
Yes. Oh
I
yeah,
don't know.
we have to keep going down that orchestra theme. I know. I started it. So
No, you did start it, but I feel like we've only just begun, and that's the song.
yeah. That'll be
I love
our
it.
follow up. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I'm a big fan of karaoke. Hopefully, I don't think anyone here knows that yet, but I'm a big fan of karaoke. So, you never know. We might have to start adding that.
We can add that in. Yeah.
Okay. Well, speaking of things that I love, let's talk about one of my favorite topics, karaoke, but also literacy. Okay. So, early literacy. So, how do you intentionally incorporate early literacy into your programming, both in the classrooms, but in out of school time as well?
Literacy is just fundamental. Like there's no way around it. And so what we are doing now, and like what families are starting to like kind of get the ball rolling and hearing the tunes of the music, is that it starts with infants with nursery rhymes. So like I Love You rituals from Conscious Discipline. It starts with, finger songs and pointing out what's in the room. And so our teachers are doing such a great job at being able to recognize it and connect it, not only in English, but also in Spanish too. So,
Mhm.
what I'm really thankful for and blessed with our program is that we have bilingual teachers and educators that also tie in some of their nursery rhymes or some of like their story times from their cultures into the classrooms. And so it kind of starts with the infants, and then it follows with toddlers. And with toddlers, you add in puppets and the picture books. And then within preschool, what's really cool is that now you're adding print with the pictures and adding, going
Mhm.
word for word and dissecting the sounds and the pronunciation of words. And so you kind of see it spark from infants all the way up into preschool, where they're like, I know what that word is. That word is cat. Because we
Yeah.
sang Pete the Cat, and then we see C. So it's kind of like it's a symphony all playing each section.
Making all those connections. I was a dual language teacher, so you are speaking my language for sure, as far as just starting early, but also thinking about culture and thinking about how do we incorporate some of those nursery rhymes that maybe they're hearing from grandma at home, and then they see it at school, and they feel excited and they feel connected and part of that classroom community. So I'm all about that. You said literacy is fundamental, and I could not agree more. Thank you so much, Jason. Well, speaking of our multilingual learners, do you do anything? It sounds like staffing is really important, that you make sure to have bilingual teachers in the classroom, but is there anything else that you do to support literacy development for our multilingual learners, those kiddos who maybe don't speak English at home?
Yes. So teaching strategies, gold, and also conscious discipline comes in both English and Spanish. So we've been really tapping into those resources to kind of make it more intentional, but also be more developmentally appropriate with what we're doing. And also being able to not only train our staff, but also the families, like understanding like these cultural, like Boito Pio is what I remember, what I go into first, like when I was a kid. Like there's something about it. There's one-on-one correspondence, it's counting, and then goes into connections, social sciences with like the farm animals and the chicken. And so it's like it's really tapping that and also really reinforcing that what you're doing is great because it's the cognitive functioning that's happening in the back of children's brains. And so really reinforcing like don't stop that, please keep with that and keep going, and making sure that it's repeated at home with all family members.
Including the parents in the process.
Mhm.
That's so good. And I was curious, Robert, over 20 years, you said have you seen a lot of changes with your multilingual learners over the years, or has it always been pretty consistently the same?
Yeah, we continue to grow, and really no year has ever been the same. And so I think that's why I've been here 26 years. And I've also been
Uh-huh.
here long enough that I've seen kids that came through the program coming back as parents, bringing their kids at the program, which is great to see as an organization. It makes me feel really old, but I appreciate that kind of multi-generation, come through. But yeah, I mean, our populations change around us. We haven't really moved, but everything kind of changes around us. And so,
Mhm.
and we go back to kind of that word nimble of like, sometimes we have different directions that we're pulled in, but our North Star has always been the same. And uh, I think one of the things when you kind of have that kind of multi-language, I, I know I'm preaching to the choir, but this is when kids, all their synapses are going that they can really retain all that language. And I used to see kids coming in speaking Spanish only, and it feels like a week later they're bilingual. That they're just
Hmm.
immersed in that environment. And same thing with I know our parents appreciate it from kind of the English only speaking, that they're kind of looking for that as well, because when Jason said this is really the fundamental foundation, literacy is the fundamental foundation for everything. Everything is built upon that. And so the stronger base that we have for that, the better we can these kids can continue learning.
Oh, totally. I have a book here that, of course, to me, something I've said for a long time to my students: Spanish or being bilingual is a superpower. We want our kiddos to be proud of that and to really embrace that. And sometimes there are mixed messages, and so I just think it's so wonderful that you're offering a space where students are not only seen and heard, but also validated and provided the choice. They're provided the choice to read books in different languages and all that. So just amazing work.
I should have said learn to play a different instrument, since we're going down that path. So
I knew it was coming.
I know
I knew
I'll work
it.
that. I'll work that in next time I'm talking about it. Like sometimes you need to
Yeah.
learn. You need to try the woodwinds out instead of the brass. Yeah,
You're like on the side, you're just Googling, okay, what are some other
I
puns
should
that I
have
can
been.
throw in?
Uh,
Oh, okay. Well, the idea of this is to have fun, right? And I am
Absolutely.
having fun. So, okay. So next question. We know that strong family partnerships are part of high quality care. So what are some ways that you're supporting families in continuing early literacy and learning at home?
And I'll Jason kind of take more of this, but to me, it always begins with communication. That these parents, many of them are their first time parents, and so they're really entrusting us with what is most sacred to them, their young children. And so, not just the safety of their kids during the majority of the day, depend on help them be prepared for kindergarten. So, we know learning is happening at every moment, whether you know it or not. And the more
Mm-hmm.
intentional we can be, the more intentional parents can be, the better that we can continue to kind of engage them. And I'll let Jason share a little bit more on how we do that.
So this is where I plug in Nebraska Growing Readers. um,
Yay!
but they are a great resource to really have like different cultural and even different representation of some of like the things that we don't have in our households or in our, in our environment. So it's a great resource that we can kind of like inform and advocate, but also have something tangible that they can take home and be like, hey, remember this? Let's go read this book. Hey, this is a tractor that we saw from passing a farm, or and stuff like that. So having other organizations that love partnering with you know nonprofits, or even like educational centers, or even like in homes, or whatever, at whatever capacity, it's great to be able to have the background and the foundation to be like, here you go, here's something to take home. And so we saw that parents really love that, and so we're also working on different ways that like make intakes that we can provide at home, where it's not like this huge big project that you have to get done in a week. But hey, next time you're reading The Hungry Caterpillar, look at what fruits and veggies you have at home and how we
Yeah.
can make it into a different a snack.
Yeah. I'm a big fan also of Nebraska Going Readers. I got to do some work with them. And what I love about not only that tangible, take this book, you also don't have to even read the book. You can look at the pictures and interact with it in so many different ways. And the bright pictures that are specifically developed for birth to 5-year-olds, that is really powerful. And then if you don't have the books, they have the website Unite for Literacy, where you can go and see all those books and listen to them in different languages. So I'm always plugging that resource as well, especially for our teachers or classrooms, that providers who maybe don't have money or extra money to be buying the books, or don't have access to the program. That is also such a great tool to use. So thank you for sharing that.
And I get excited when I see kids get excited to have a physical book. So, I mean, obviously, that's how we grew up, with the libraries and books, and we did not have any tablets or anything. So I'm always a little surprised, but always pleasant surprised on how excited they are when they actually have their physical book in their hand and tell me everything about it.
Yes. Yes. It never gets old. Having a read aloud with an adult that you care about and love is always special. And It is hopefully not something that's going away anytime soon, please.
No, no. In fact, I think we're going to kind of double down. We just got a grant to kind of really combine some technology and literacy together, and that we're going to kind of pilot out in the next year. So we're really excited about that. And then, as you know, we also do out of school programs for our elementary age kids, and so that is really another kind of cornerstone of kind of what we do for there. And I know in the past year we added the Mentor mobile book cart is kind of a moving library that we have for the mentor matches. But any out of school kids can go and find their books that they wanted to read or take home, which is, like I said, it's great just to they can have something of their own to claim these books as their own to take home.
Well, and it makes their mentoring time so special because kids are different. Some want to go play sports, some want to do some art, but a lot of kids love reading, and that is a way for them to perhaps escape or use their imagination and to be able to do that with their mentor and share in that way is really special.
So I worked in a library through high school, so I was surrounded by books, and I was a very avid reader then. I am not as much now, which is I should be, but I think that's
it's not too late, Robert.
It is not. So yeah, I do have
Okay.
a stack of books that I planned. I'm one of those that like, there's my to read pile.
You have the goal, you have the journey, you'll get there. Okay, so what are some strategies with families? So a lot of our listeners maybe are looking for some ideas that they could try out today or maybe tomorrow and ways to engage families as partners in their child's learning.
Some strategies that like I have recommended, even coming from previously from the classroom to now into my role now, is that like sometimes with multilingual learners or even speakers that they feel like embarrassed by reading the books or even trying to. So what I would like suggest is like play it on YouTube, find the book on YouTube and have them say it, but you're looking at the pictures and following along, point at the words section by section so then that they like are hearing it, seeing it, and it somehow in some way, I'm not a doctor, but it makes sense in their brains.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like that whole, it's like the music just playing and following along. And so then another strategy too is just like have the kids pick the books that they want, take them into the library and spend 30 minutes of trying to figure out what books that they're interested in, find stuff that calls them instead of forcing a book onto children, because then that's kind of restraining their love for learning. So kind of letting them take the navigation and figuring out what they want to do. And then also adding stuff that like they have at home. So like if there's a big construction site happening outside of your neighborhood, maybe let's go find a book about the monster trucks or tractors or how do construction workers drill, and learn about new keywords and kind of building that $1 million vocabulary for them.
Those are great ideas. And I've never met a toddler that is not excited about a monster truck. So I'm serious. I've never, it's a real crowd pleaser in that age group. So,
and I feel like there's always some construction going on our roundabout by the corner so I guess it's good that, but the kids are mesmerized by all this. We're all driving, frustrated. Like, why is this road closed? They're excited to see everything happening.
I love that though. It's connecting to their home, connecting to their world and what they're seeing, but also taking a moment to teach some vocabulary and to make a little bit more sense to them. What is construction? What are these trucks? What are they doing? And things like that. So I love obviously student choice as well. I think that's so important because we're all different. Some kids might like a comic book. Others might want to read about animals, it's so important to provide that choice. I think sometimes parents can be hesitant with maybe not feeling like they're the experts or something like that. And so as much like you're describing, as much of that modeling, but also just sharing easy ways, like use YouTube. Cool. Just right there. Just go ahead. Mm-hmm. So that's great. Okay. Well, I can't believe that we're on our last question because that went by very fast. You two are very fun to talk to. Let's end on a fun note, I guess you could say, not to overuse that word, but I wish I had a question about a pun with music or something, but I don't. Here's my question. Do you have a favorite children's book or some sort of story that you can share about a read aloud moment, something that sticks out to you and makes you feel all warm and fuzzy?
When I saw that, the first thing I thought of was The Little House. And I don't know if that's still a book little kids read. I'm not sure, but I just remember that one stuck with me. And I think the reason it stuck with me all these years is because it was one of those that also came with a 45 record. So you'd play the record and read along. And so I still hear the voice, and I still hear the song, and I will not sing that for you. Nobody wants to hear that. But but when I thought about that, I was like, oh, this kind of goes back to everything that we're talking about today with, I was, seeing the words and hearing the words. And that was kind of, I guess, honing my reading skills without knowing it. And obviously there's a reason, many decades later that this is still lodged into my brain, that reading this at the little house, and it's still all there. I can probably almost recite it verbatim, but that's the first one I thought of.
I won't test you on this, but I'm sure there's a listener who's saying, me too. They're like, yeah, I read that book. So, I love that. And, we might have to explain to some people what records are. But
yeah, I should say a 45 is actually a small record for those that do not know. Yeah.
Teachable moment.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Robert. Okay, Jason.
Mine is really cliche, but like very, very. So it's Chicka Chicka Boom Boom. And so mine, it was because English is not my first language. Spanish is actually my first language. And so for me, like, again, reading kind of like these questions beforehand, I was really trying to figure out like, what book do I remember? But because the sounds and looking at the pictures and looking at the tree, and one goes up and then they all fall down. And so I think that is what inspired me to like continue learning English and also keeping my Spanish, because then we would read the English one and then we had a Spanish CD player for me, sorry, but that would repeat everything in Spanish after. So we kind of had, and it was like a great teachable moment. I had a great relationship with this teacher because there was a couple of us that English was not our first language. So she adapted to us and said, here's the English version, and then we're going to play the Spanish version after. So the differences and also be able to recognize where they're at. So.
Oh, well, I just want to say thank you. A big thank you to Robert and Jason from Kids Can for sharing their insight, experience, and energy with us today. It's clear that you both care deeply about supporting children and the educators who guide them. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, happy to be here.
Thank you. Thank you, listeners, for the work you do each day to nurture Nebraska's youngest learners. We hope today's episode gave you a few new ideas, a little inspiration, and a reminder that quality is something we build together. Thanks for all you do and continue to do to make literacy playful, joyful, and meaningful for each child in your care. Be sure to tune in next time as we continue supporting our amazing Nebraska providers on their step up to quality. Until then, bye-bye.